What's up, podcast listeners? Andy, Drew, producer Robin. It's episode 52 of the What's Up Casselberry podcast. We are excited to be with you on our weekly program. Andy and I are Casselberry residents and local pastors who each and every Tuesday love to have conversations with you and with our guest and our producer Robin about all things Casselberry. Andy, there is an excitement in the air. I'm telling you, my voice is giving it away. We've got a very big time guest ahead. We are celebrating a new community member of the month. I'm just excited. What's going on with you guys? How are you feeling?
Well, I'm sensing it too. Our guest today is Dr. Walt Griffin, who leads our school system. And I've got kids in the system, and I know firsthand what a great job Seminole County Public Schools do as well. But it's amazing. If you talk to anyone around the county, a lot of people, even if they don't have kids, will move to the county just because of the schools, because good schools produce good citizens, and good citizens build a good community. And arguably, Dr. Griffin is one of the men who have been most influential in our successful school system. So I'm excited to pick his brain about how he leads, how he cares, how he is making a difference in our county.
Absolutely. I think this is potentially one of our biggest, if not the biggest guest, quote unquote, in terms of influence and just name notoriety. And so we're very excited to have a candid conversation, learning about his leadership tactics and just all the things that have been accomplished in Seminole County. This is big. This is really, really big. I don't know if either of you are Florida lottery players or not, but as of this recording, the Florida lottery in the state of Florida is set up to $750 million. That's right, $750 million. That's about the time where my dad, he's not a big lottery player, but this is usually the time where he's like, you know what, I'm going to buy a ticket or two. I recall him when I was a younger man. I don't believe he's ever even gotten one of the numbers correct in the order, but he will play the lottery. We're having Dr. Griffin on talking about education. We know the Florida lottery system, part of the monies go towards our education system, specifically in scholarships. And we saw in the news here locally that our convenience stores, which makes sense, business booms when there's purchases made. And one of our local clerks was interviewed and is excited about the Florida lottery. Andy, how much can I put you down for?
You can put me down for a big fat zero. A couple of reasons. Once I bought 10 $1 scratch offs, and I was pretty excited to scratch them and buy them, and I actually won. And so as I see the kind of winning numbers and stuff come up, I'm like, oh man, this is great. How much was it? And I won $5. But I just put down $10, and I'm like, okay, I see how this works. I'm not really interested in that. The other thing, and this is maybe just a personal discipline to mine, it is really easy for me to start daydreaming about what I would do with $750 million. And often those daydreams don't take me to very healthy places. So no, I will not be participating. But if you are, good luck. If you win, I know some very charitable causes that would love to talk with you, but good luck to everybody out there. And I hope we have a winner in Casselberry, I guess.
John Jones is our January community member of the month from the John Jones law office there, right on 1792. Mr. Jones has been a longtime community member, has been a lawyer in our community for many, many years, served in our military, and we are very thankful for Mr. Jones and his service and involvement in Casselberry. And so now this is the time where I love to plug and recognize others who would like to be considered. Maybe not you personally, but you have somebody in mind to invite, request to be the member of the month. The way you can do that, the simplest way is to go either to our Facebook page or Instagram page, which is whatsupcasselberry.com. And right there in the comment section or leave a private message, let us know, give us a name, give us a reason why you would recommend an individual to be our next community member of the month for February. You can also go to our website. Producer Robin created a little link there on the main homepage, whatsupcasselberry.com. Go there. Right on the homepage, you can see nominate the next member of the month. We want to hear from you, listener. Let us know who you suggest. Today's sponsor is We Insure. We Insure cares for your insurance needs, whether it be your home, auto, or business. Josh Hinkle is our local We Insure agent, and he and his wife Kelly serve Casselberry, Winter Springs, and the surrounding area. We Insure serves as an active member of the Casselberry Chamber of Commerce and are committed to excellent customer service. I'll tell you, listener, my wife, Becky, and I have personally benefited from the work of Josh and the We Insure team. Contact Josh Hinkle with We Insure for all of your insurance needs at 321-422-3255. Thanks, We Insure.
Friends, welcome back. We are thrilled, delighted, and honored today to have an incredibly special guest on the podcast today, Dr. Walt Griffin from Seminole County Public Schools. Now, I have had the honor recently to sit on a little team that has been trying to find Dr. Griffin's successor as he prepares for his retirement. And let me just say, it is impossible almost to follow a legend. We were looking at some stats that the school district had pulled together, and honestly, I think Dr. Griffin could run for any office in the land with these approval ratings, and he's so loved that I think if he walked into a store and bought a lotto ticket, they would make sure he got the winning ticket. He is deeply loved, and we're deeply honored to have Dr. Walt Griffin with us today. Welcome, Walt.
Thank you, Andy. It's my honor to be here.
Dr. Griffin, we are so glad you're here. And as Andy has, puffed your pride up, which of course, with only true statements, that we are very proud to have you as one of our leaders in our community. We are so excited to be able to let our listeners have kind of a peek behind the curtain of who you are as a man, sharing about your life, sharing about some of the things you've done in the school system. So let's kind of break the ice, so to speak, by just kind of asking a fun sort of off the wall question. Dr. Griffin, is there a favorite location, a favorite place for you as an individual, your family to visit in Seminole County since you've been a resident for a long time?
Hands down, our go-to place is Oviedo on the Park. Most people who I work with know I'm a health nut and into lots of walking and some running and just being outside and being very active. And we actually purchased a home close to Oviedo on the Park. We sold our family home about 3 years ago. And I always have 2 dogs and do lots of walking, but really anywhere outside. I love the trails. Weather like this is a dream, where it's cool at night and beautiful during the day. But I would say Oviedo on the Park, and I love the combination of the restaurants, the being able to walk, seeing a lot of people. I know lots of people, and a lot of people know and recognize me. But I will tell you, the citizens of Seminole County are so respectful and so nice and so polite. I actually enjoy getting out and having to meet my dogs and stuff. It's just so much fun. I think it's fun for people to see that I do a little bit more than just work.
But you do have a very busy job. Tell us about the size, scope, and success of Seminole County School District.
Well, Andy and Drew, I think, first of all, one of my goals is to always make the district seem a lot smaller than it is, because it is very large. We are the 60th largest district in the nation, 12th largest in Florida. We have about 67,000 students. Our enrollment is down a little bit during COVID, but about 67,000 students, about 8,000 employees. We are the largest employer in Seminole County. Believe it or not, I have to oversee $1 billion budget, which is a whole lot of zeros. So when I go home, I feel very poor because there are no zeros on my numbers, right? But very proud. The district has been A-rated for over 20 years. The past couple of years, we've been the number one district in the state of Florida in terms of STEM and preparing students for STEM careers. And just 2 weeks ago, our historic high graduation rate of 94.5% was released. So a lot of metrics, and you're not going to hear me ever say the word I. I'm part of a great community on a great team. And this is a group effort to get all these things. Sometimes I'm humbled by the work that my team does to make these things happen and the great principals and families that we have.
I love that answer. And yeah, we were blessed to get that email from the county regarding the graduation rates. Congratulations. Well deserved. We celebrated it on the podcast. Dr. Griffin, just to jump right in off something you said, trying to make this large organization seem more smaller and maybe a bit more personal or personable. How would you describe how you lead an organization? Like, help us peek behind the curtain. What are you looking to accomplish? How are you looking to connect with folks? We love talking about leadership on this podcast.
For example, we're in a pandemic right now, yet I just visited my 46th school this school year in mask. But I think you keep it small by interacting with all of the players. When I visit a school, I worked at schools a long time. I'm a longtime principal and teacher prior to working in the county office. And I make sure to show my respect to our dining room service employees, our custodians, our bus drivers. Without them, we are nothing. I go out to the bus depot and sincerely thank them for their work. We don't pay these people enough for the dedication they have to Seminole County. And I'm so appreciative. And we've tried to do every nice thing that we can for people. And it's truly having an open door policy. I've had custodians, I've had county painters, I've had many different people ask if they could talk to me. And sometimes they seem surprised when I go, yeah, stop by next Wednesday at 4, Yeah. But it's always, I don't believe in a hierarchy at all. The only time a hierarchy comes into place is for things when there's trouble or something difficult to deal with. I own that. And I have the structures in place. But as far as the daily, day-to-day operations, I try to make all my decisions with the people who are closest to the problem that I'm solving. And although I have this job, I don't know exactly what our teachers are experiencing teaching in COVID, for example. So I've gone into the classrooms and hundreds now, and I bring teachers to the board. Tell us what it's like. Tell us your struggles. Tell us what we need to know. And that's how you run an organization, to me, is not pretending or being a know-it-all, but learning from your folks and trying to help them and do the best that you can do, and accepting the fact no matter what decision you make, someone's not going to like, but that's okay. You just try to do the best thing every day. That's
a great organization model when you can pull it off. I know there are many who try, but many can't. And I think a lot of that is because of your relational strength and your ability to connect with people so well. Well, during your tenure as superintendent, what are some of the things that you've been most proud of? I suspect they're connected with that relational culture that you've created.
Yeah, I think, on the academic side, most people don't know. My father, who passed away 2 years ago, is a blacksmith. So I was raised in a blue-collar home and always appreciated. My dad did a wonderful job raising us. And I always wondered why the school system didn't offer more career vocational tech opportunities for students. And just recently, because of the superintendent search, I haven't watched it yet, but some friends have watched my initial interview. And I'm talking about vocational and career a lot. And I'm very proud to say the team, the community, we've accomplished that. We really have. First of all, when I go out and speak about vocational, it's not like I'm using a bad word. I think we have educated the public that having a career right out of high school or right out of college is not dummying down curriculum. These are essential services with good pay. We're getting ready to open an HVAC center and, electricity, building trades. These are great jobs. They're needed in our community. And as an education partner to the community. Very, very proud that this career tech vocational piece has taken off to the point where we've received legislative support on both our manufacturing and our aviation units. And when we ask, people step forward. I'll give an example. Bobby Della Russo from Del Air heard about us opening an HVAC center. He has a small one up and running at Lyman before we've even opened the building. Why? Because he needs workers. Why don't we produce workers? And we all have air conditioning, and you've all been in a house where AC breaks, and I stand by the door with my credit card, fix it. These are jobs that are essential. Plumbers. This is great work. I would challenge that education to going off to college and majoring in something that doesn't lead to work. How many kids come back and they're still, they have to live at home because they can't find work? And in summary, I have two kids. I have the academic daughter who fretted when she got a 98. And I had the son 6 years later, who you would never think they would have any of the DNA the same. He would spend more time worrying about the lowest possible grade he can make on his exam and still keep a B average. Just different. It was difficult to motivate him. But at the end of the road, at the end of high school, I got him a tour at Seminole State College. He signed up for and graduated from the automotive tech program. His entire graduating class was hired prior to graduation. He is still in the industry. He's not changing oil anymore. He's managing a large service department. And my daughter, different pathway, she became a banker. So, I learned as a dad that one size does not fit all. If my son would have gone off to university, he would have had a bachelor's degree in socializing, and he'd probably still be living upstairs in my house trying to decide what he's going to do, So I think you have to have an open mind.
I love that. And you are speaking our language, Dr. Griffin. I'm a brand new parent. Andy is very much in the throes of watching his children go down that path. And I think you speak for many in our community and talking about the beauty of our schools is the variety, that there's not one size fits all. I love that. There is obviously this past year, we're going to get into a couple COVID questions in a minute, but as you just think back on your tenure, what are some of the biggest perhaps challenges or obstacles that you've faced in this role?
Hands down, COVID comes right up the top three. I will tell you the things that tore at me most personally. We had a few suicides in the district. Those are the things that you think, what could I have done differently as the leadership in a district to prevent or make people aware. And that's why we did this big mental health rollout and all that. Things that were challenges, but not anything wrong with them. When we had to rezone, that makes people unhappy. I tend to be a people pleaser. And when we rezoned, I knew in my heart it was the fiscally responsible thing to do for the district. As I told parents, we're not zoning one house to one school and one to the other. The whole neighborhood is going. But it's painful because somewhere you have to draw the line and people have to change schools. But we balanced those schools out. We didn't have to close schools. So rezoning is always a challenge. And I think the political climate has been a challenge. I'm always about citizenship. We do everything we can to teach children about citizenship, for children to understand their heritage and really the people who have fought for our freedoms and the things that we get to talk about. And the political climate has been a challenge. Our nation is very divided right now. And, I remember when I was a little boy and we spoke about the president. After the president was elected, you kind of forgot if he was Democrat or Republican. He was the president of the United States, and people just believed in being American. And I'm sure there were things I was young and naive to, but I hope that someday we get back to all of us wanting to work together to make our nation better and stronger, and people softer and people more understanding. And that's hard in my role to feel like that when things are happening and you're telling, and the kids are so good at heart, and you're fearful for the world that they have to enter, and you hope you've prepared them for that. But those are the biggest challenges. I think, the COVID, the mental health issues, and especially, we had a few suicides that I will never get over. And then dealing with the political climate is a challenge.
Well, just to lean into that a little bit, citizenship has been one of the marks of your tenure as you've promoted that. And we are in a divided state. And right now, everybody's talking about unity and getting on the same page. But we both know it's a lot harder than just talking it into being. How do you think we get to a place of unity again? And especially among the students, the generations that you're working with, what are some of the things that we all need to own and understand to come together again?
Well, I think you're exactly right, Andy. It starts at a young age. And I think some of the great things that we have in place, we bring the greatest generation into the classrooms to tell their stories. Mm-hmm. And I think, a great community project would be capturing the stories of our veterans and what they really went through. And quite frankly, when we bring them into the schools, and I've met many of them, they're hesitant to tell their story. They're almost, they've moved on. And they appreciate being respected for everyone, but you really have to get them to talk about some of what they saw and some of what they put on the line to preserve the freedoms that we all enjoy so much. The ability for me, even as public as my position is, I am free to speak about what I think is right, and I try, I have a small, pretty big now Twitter following, and I try not to get political, but it seems so, no matter what you say, sometimes it sounds a little bit political. But I think it's educating everybody about good Americans and understanding what our country would be like if we didn't have people who did that for us. And I am not a veteran, but my father and grandfather are. I wish I could talk to my grandfather now. He's been gone many years. First of all, thank him for his service. I was never keenly aware as a young boy, but I know that it was a challenge in World War II. And I read about those things now, and we all have relatives, and our students need to interact more with veterans. So I think that's one part of it. And then the other part is really learning how to sit together and solve problems. I think sometimes it's so easy to get on social media and not have a conversation with somebody. And I even know sometimes I get a heated email from somebody, like in all caps, they're very angry about something. And I don't even dare respond to them in writing, but I do pick up the phone, or the email I send them is, please call me. And at times there's somebody reaching out to me who has a problem more serious than the one that we're addressing, and we try to help them. And I try to be empathetic and understanding, because when people get to that point, something is going on. But I think we really have an obligation to teach children, and then and hopefully it'll bleed over to their adulthood to, hey, let's sit together and solve some problems. And you don't always get a total win out of that, but compromise is a good thing. And I don't know that we do enough of that. I don't know if adults do enough of that.
Right.
I like that, Dr. Griffin. Thank you. And thank you for your family's service. That my grandfather served in World War II, or my wife's grandfather served in World War II, and miss him as well. I miss those stories and just the wisdom gleaned. Yep. You are going to be one of those, we'll call them wise, mature, aged men yourself. What would you say is something that you are looking forward to in terms of investing in our community, maybe in a different way, not having the title of superintendent, but how do you plan on kind of investing in our community moving forward?
That's a big question right now for me. I've been asked to be on every committee known to man, to do all these job offers, all these, and I'm humbled by all this. And I've told everybody, if I wanted a job, I have the greatest job in the world. I honestly just had a perfect evaluation from all 5 school board members before I announced my retirement. I'm leaving when you should leave, when things are going very, very well. And this is my baby, and I'm going to be handing this baby off to somebody. But I will definitely be doing some things to make lives better for children. And I'm a real lover of animals. I will quietly be doing some work to care for for animals that need some extra help or adoption or helping find homes and doing things like that. But first and foremost, I knew what I signed up for, but this job is very consuming. Not this year because of COVID, it's not as demanding in the evenings and weekends. But I have a lot of family and friends to catch up with. I have 4 grandchildren I want to get to know even better. I have a wife who's been waiting for me to retire so we can maybe do a little bit of traveling. But I'm staying in the community. I want to be part of the community and do what's necessary to help. I've never gotten involved with supporting political candidates or all that, but maybe I'll be able to say something now.
Oh, yeah, maybe not. I'm not sure that's how I would want to spend my retirement,
that's right.
Especially now. But so Walt, you have led well and you will leave well. As part of leaving well, what counsel will you give to your successor? What do they need to know about this role?
I think the very first thing is that you will never be as big as this job. And I tell myself that every day when I pull into the office or stop at a school. There are 60 schools, 67,000 students, many departments, many personalities. There's a lot to deal with. And just, always have that holistic view, but simplify your day as much as possible to deal with the problems. I know I have a little mantra. I don't care what is going on. If a school board member or somebody comes in my office to see me, I tell myself, don't look busy. Give them undivided attention. And actually, it's therapeutic in many ways because you forget about what you're doing. And then as soon as the board member ever leaves, and I pull the notebook back out and get back into what I'm doing. So I think the first thing is to always know that the job will always be bigger than yourself. Hands down, I'm passing over a very, very strong team. There will be some retirements, but we've built a succession plan. You're only as good as your team, and a team that you trust and a team that you work for. I feel very guilty when I go out and people give me accolades for work I know others have done. And I always let the people shine who have done the work and let the students shine. This is not a job for an ego. Leave the ego somewhere else. If your kids shine, you shine, the district shines. Support and respect your board members. They were elected by the public for their position. Whether you agree or disagree, you always show respect to your board members because you're showing respect to the population that voted for them. And you work with them, you teach them, you gel them together. Right now, the board and I have fun together. It's not, we're a family. I just enjoy their company. We know when we see each other, we spend more time talking about our kids, grandkids, stuff going on. I send pictures of the grandkids, things like that. It's about building relationships. And I think hire well, have fun, and build solid relationships. And I can't say how important it is to have fun. If you're not laughing through, you either have to laugh or cry, right? So I try to laugh all day long. They tell me when I'm not here that it's quiet because I'm just loud, But I try to have fun, and I'm going to be leaving here still having fun. I think that I don't want to get wheeled out, miserable, and burned out.
That's fantastic. I love that. And you've modeled that so well and so faithfully during your tenure. Maybe a final question, Dr. Griffin. There will be many accolades coming your way over the next few months and people lauding you and celebrating what you and your team have done. And we will certainly kind of join in that and celebrate that. But if you could say one thing, offer one piece of advice to the people of Seminole County, what would you say to them?
Pay attention to your children. I think people spend so much time staring at screens, having the kids watch a movie when they're in the car. When you're at Publix, when you're walking around the park, when you come home, talk to your kids, know what's going on in their life, and just be engaged. I think people have good intentions, but work and other things consume them. And I think we have to be very careful we don't raise a generation that don't have those really, really solid relationship with adults because we've all been too busy to pay attention to the kids. We're satisfied if they're playing on their new PlayStation because they're quiet and happy. But the reality is you got to sit around the table, break bread together, and talk through the day, what's going on, and disconnect. And I have to tell myself to do that all the time. And I tell parents, especially now when I meet with our elementary parents, they look so young to me. I'm not afraid to hold back. I say everything I want to them. And sometimes some of them come up to me and they're crying. They go, I'm on the phone all the time. I say, well, fix it today. And just start talking to your kids. They grow up so fast and you're going to say, hey, what happened? Oh, I was answering a text,
Yeah, that's fantastic advice. And what a better world we would create as we heed to it. Dr. Griffin, thank you so much for your time. I know you are one of the busiest men in Seminole County as well, and we appreciate you sharing some of your insights, some of your thoughts with us today. Thank you for all your leadership, and we do join with everyone else in wishing you the very best for all that's ahead for you.
Thank you. I appreciate our friendship, and the time was my absolute pleasure.
Wow, what a great conversation we had with Dr. Griffin. I am so grateful for his leadership and all that he's done for our county. And I hope that in his retirement, we'll be able to stay connected. I'd love just to grab a coffee with him and could speak for hours about the things he's learned about leadership, our county, and about what makes a great community. He's been not just an influential leader, but also an inspirational leader as well. Drew, you have some words of wisdom to share with us from another inspirational leader.
I do. Thank you, Andy. Listeners, we just recently observed Martin Luther King Day. And so what better than to share a quote from that influential and inspirational man. He said this: hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. To take from Dr. Griffin just a moment ago, he talked about an example of receiving an email that was maybe harshly worded, or social media, where nowadays we see more and more hatred, vitriol, angry expressions of communication going back and forth. And his response, and I believe our response, is to move towards an individual. If someone says something, if someone does something that is hateful in nature, we can respond with hate, but that's not going to change anything. In fact, it's probably only going to make the situation and the relationship worse. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. beautifully recognized that in this life, you cannot overcome hate with more hate. You can only overcome hate with love. Only love can overcome hate. Thank you, Dr. King.
Friends, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the What's Up Casselberry podcast. Thanks again to Dr. Griffin for being our guest. Thank you, Drew, for being a great partner. Thank you, Robin, for making us sound better than we really are. This podcast is produced by Robin. For more information, please check out our website, Facebook page, Instagram, or podcast feed, all under the name What's Up Casselberry. If you would like and subscribe and rate our podcast, that will help us climb the podcast charts. But until next time, friends, we hope you have a great week.